Hi everyone, bonus material for newsletter number 9. Today we're going to be talking about walking in eye contact. Now, again, this is brand new for me. I've never taught it before. This is as though you were the first in my class as I morph what used to be a class on exotic dancing moves for the everyday woman designed for the male gaze. But now I'm realizing that these moves and techniques had deeper meaning underneath them. And I'm trying to figure out from all my various life's experiences as someone who's in her 50s now, exactly how to use this information to get out of survival mode and to begin thriving, because I'm about out of time to figure this out. Like, retirement accounts need to be funded, and I need to have an exit plan from working, like a 9 to 5. So as I work this out, I want to help you figure it out so that we can all design the same kind of life, because I know that we have the skills deep inside to thrive. It's what we do naturally. Women, we want the win-win. We're seeking that all the time. It comes out looking less than articulate. It looks messy. Sometimes we're taught things that look crass and then told to be classy. But there is a nuance. There's a balance between those two poles. And that's one of my expertises. I love knowing what's behind both poles. And I shared with you a little over the course of the newsletters. It's because I was born into a Mennonite family and I wanted to be a boy. I was like, I want to be a boy. I want the freedom that I thought that the boys had. Now, that's a whole nother topic, because long story short, I ended up realizing that it was actually the women who had more emotional freedom, psychological freedom, where the men only had freedom of space. So both were sort of stuck in their own silos and not being able to see one another. So I'm trying to help us all be able to see both sides of the story. So last week we talked about the squatting hip roll, which was how we conserve, preserve, bring our own energy in, because when we're losing it, the world will only dogpile on top of you. Like, women in particular, that's what I meant about no emotional safety. Like, it's why, men were like, you stay back home because you can't get a hold of yourself right now. Like, it probably started out as a caring move, but over time became more and more constrictive. Because unless we work together and find an expansive solution, that's what happens. The grip gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So, just as a review, remember, protect yourself. Strongest structure in architecture is a triangle. Get yourself into 2 triangles, your head, your 2 hands on your knees, and then your feet and your seat. And what you do is you try to get, so when you're in panic mode, the psoas muscle that runs through your hips, connects to your spine, tenses up. So this move is really good at just letting you acknowledge, I feel out of control. I feel a little scared. I don't know how I'm going to make things work, but I trust in who I am. I trust in what I know. I am on this earth for a purpose. There is a rhyme and a reason, and I will make this work, even if I'm the only one who believes it right here, right now. And that's a place that women have understood, and we've been able to give each other that sort of psychological or emotional structure, not just within a physical movement, but sometimes we've been able to do it just in sitting around and talking to our girls. That's why girls' nights are really effective. So, ironically, we create a pyramid of safety but by being in a circle and talking to each other. Again, working this out, trying to feel where this goes in my body. I would convince you to start doing this kind of stuff. Go inward, because you're more connected with the earth than you realize. That's one of the things that, just having been raised on a farm, feet in the mud, has taught me that I feel the most grounded when I'm touching the earth, and I can think better and more clearly. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So walking in eye contact. So in the course, where I was going with that. So the women, this is what happens with women, what I've noticed with women's circles, and why I've pulled out of a lot of them as I've gotten older. Women would sit in a circle, we would talk, and we would literally figure things out. We would be like, yeah, this is what needs to happen. We would basically fix all the world's problems, or at least we thought we did. And then we were boldened by that, and we would go out into the world, and we would try to get our opinions across. And when it didn't work in a feminine way, even though everybody in that room understood it in a feminine way, once we got attacked, then we would be like, oh, okay, I guess I have to be like a man. And we would try to do it in a masculine way. Well, that's even worse. And before long, you just learn to shut down. So there is a different way. And I just learned this naturally, even in college, because that's the miraculous part. I got out of that community. Although now, ironically, I would like to go back to it. Oh, see? Not go back to the same narrow mindsets, but go back to the land. To go back to the land and living off the earth, the self-sustainability, the renewability, because the earth teaches you how to renew yourself. Like how to stay in my body. And, it's very much like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Those kind of things. So flow. It's just like doing Qigong in the morning. It's like doing Tai Chi. It's yoga, back and forth, flow. Staying fluid is what he taught me. But assessing first before you move is what the other men taught me, the farmers. So when I got to college, I would go into this area where I knew I was on high alert, and I switched into gear like they do. And I remember I walked in chest first, leading with my chest first, because I didn't want to appear weak and fragile. Now, I wasn't acting like a man, but I was taking the stance or the energetic presence of a man. That's what it was, the energetic presence. And so I walked in, and I made sure to assess. I was watching while I was being watched. I was assessing while I was assessing. And I would move to the periphery, and I would just watch how the herd interacted. Because that's essentially, where is the sun, meaning the exit? Where is the restroom? A very dangerous point. Where, there could be bear hiding there. There could be, you see what I'm getting at? And why the language in our society comes back to these kind of things. It's because women and our bodies intuitively know these. So where I was getting at, let me start with, when I was in the exotic dance class, we would teach walking in eye contact in order to entertain men, right? But unknowingly, the women, myself included, would walk out feeling more grounded, more capable, more effective, more able to handle our legs, both emotionally, psychologically, energetically. So in the class, we would teach what was called a step drag walk. And it was your center of gravity. You move one foot forward, and then you would drag the toes of your other, I'm sorry, I'm out of the camera. I don't think I can, there we go. Let me do this for you. See if that helps. Okay, step, drag, walk. So you would do step, and then you would drag, and what we would do is an exaggerated hip movement. Step, drag, step, drag, step, drag. And you can do it even going backwards is a little bit, like that. And you can see how like your arms naturally go into this flow. But it's meant to draw attention right here on your hips. Okay, now the problem with this that I see now as an older woman is exactly why it's the reverse of what I did in college, which by the way kept me safe and protected and I never had any issues. You're drawing attention to your lower body, which, being crass, makes a man hungry for that area. It moves him from so we all want to stay in our heart area, bottom line. If you're drawing attention here, you're bringing a man's attention down. So what are his behaviors and thoughts and actions going to be like? Down. Now, there's a way to do that where you're both in a flow and it's both respectful and the whole 9 yards. But this is what we did as women. We would talk to each other, we would build each other out, and then we'd send each other out, and we would do what we normally do, which is, I am woman, I'm this, I'm that. And right away, everybody's like, I want to own her, I want to consume her, I want to take her, we essentially build each other up to become sitting ducks, victims, and it shows up in our culture. Instead, what I realized I was doing was switching my energetic center to my shoulders, up here. Now, women are so afraid to keep our chest open, and we're taught to be like, buddy, don't look there, look, my eyes are here. Like, that's the worst reaction you can have. The worst. So if you're one of those people who's like, don't look at my breasts, my face is right here, you are making us all look really, really bad. Because the truth is, I have something amazing to offer, and I'm glad you realize it. And it's not just breasts. It's indicative of your heart. That is men trying their hardest to get to our center. A man who's looking at you like that, who just glances and glances away, not staring, obviously, because if he's staring, then he's got some of his own boundary issues, and that tells you a lot about him. That means don't even engage him with words. Just walk away, because he's likely dangerous. He wants to use or abuse you. Now, if he's just glancing and he's doing his best, I even glance. Boom! Beautiful. What happened when Sydney Sweeney walked out on the red carpet? Wow! 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 The world paused. The world stopped. And I admired that moment so much because she was doing exactly what I'm about to tell you to do. She was okay with being seen. She knew how to just be seen. Because when you can just be seen and let people ruminate in their hearts, because what first happens is, all their judgments come out. What she's doing by just allowing herself to be seen is revealing everyone else's weaknesses. It's brilliant and it's easy. It's a lot harder to go out there and say, you should respect me and you should care about me and my values because I'm just as smart as you are and this and that. I mean, I'm already getting off track. But to just stand there and show her value And no, her value is not her breasts. Her value is, I'm a woman. And women do naturally go for the win-wins. We naturally go for the win-wins. We're never going to leave you behind. We're never going to progress without you unless you don't respect us. So that's the kind of walking and eye contact that I want to teach you now here today. I want to show you the difference between walking in and leading men to a downward spiral, or being confrontational, like, I'm just as tough, I'm just as smart, I'm all that. There is a different way. And it's by knowing who you are and having those energy centers that we've talked about. And how you do it as a woman is by knowing who you are at the core. This is why systems like to put roles on us and rules, because once they have rules and roles, they can rank us. Well, we need to reject all of that. Yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I'm a daughter. Yes, I'm a lab scientist by training. Yes, I currently do compliance at a casino. Yes, I worked at a transfusion unit. Like, yes, I'm a woman who's lived a lot of life. I've made mistakes. But I'm not going to let those roles or those mistakes define me. Instead, what I've learned, what I call the zone of effectiveness for we as women, is knowing how you typically approach a situation, how you typically act once you're in that situation, or how you typically analyze that situation, and then ultimately how you act. That's it. The three A's of effectiveness. Approach, which is what walking and eye contact are. Analysis, you're doing that while you're in it, and then ultimately act. So when I go into a room, before I go in, once my energy centers, this is how I help. So when you approach a situation, it's always going to be from heart. Or women, that's where we typically come from, and that's where we want to lead everyone else back to as well. So I tend to be enthusiastic. And I get excited, a little bit like flirty, playful, like I'm like, come on, let's get this started. I'm excited, let's do this. Like, that's my energy when I approach a new situation. I'm very enthusiastic. I'm an early adopter. I told you already, I like to investigate both poles. So I'm like, ooh, something I don't know about, let me try it. Something on this end, ooh, that scares me, which is exactly why I know I need it. So I'm very enthusiastic. And I love that about myself. See, just talking about it, I just got goosebumps. Like, it centers me. It makes me enter my flow. So I know I'm enthusiastic. It's my heart. Here, my umbilicus. What am I really good at? What do I do when I'm helping others? I'm extremely resourceful. I used to call it analytical, which I guess maybe it is, because I used to look towards books and studies and stuff like that. I'm just very detail oriented. And you can see, like, I haven't specifically landed on the word because the word changes and morphs, just like we outgrow skin, we shed it, and we move on. Like, so right now I'm going with resourceful because at this stage in my life, I've had to be resourceful to get all of my needs met. So I'm enthusiastic, I'm resourceful. That's how I analyze a situation or how I deal with it once I'm inside of it. And then ultimately, how do you act? And I'm very courageous. Like, once I decide to finally do something, once I've processed the negative emotions because I understand myself, that enthusiasm takes me bouncing back and forth between highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. But once I've processed the first round of emotions that goes through me, then I can get to my enthusiasm, which I'm at right now. I'm being very resourceful. And now I'm going to act courageously. So I want you to find your 3 A's. What are you most effective with? Because this is how you're going to walk into any room, how you're going to engage with people. So walking and eye contact. So I keep coming back to umbilicus. It's very important. It gets ignored in our culture, but it's literally your lifeline while you were in utero, and or what's connecting you to your children while they are in utero. And I believe, and I can sense that when you're facing someone face to face, there's an energy that starts to get exchanged. So this is the new walking that I want to teach you. I want to teach you that when you walk into a room, you remember what's great about yourself. I'm enthusiastic, I'm resourceful, and I'm courageous, because that aligns my energy center so I can walk in with my light shining bright. You make eye contact, or at least scan the area from that open-hearted approach. And as you walk in, you're very aware of your umbilicus. So this may be the first thing that's noticed, but your energy center is bringing it down, but not all the way down. Okay, so this, I believe, this area here, while it feels the most vulnerable, if you're viewed by others who are assessing you as hiding this, you look like a victim. You look like easy prey, you look like a target. Whereas when you walk in and you are transmitting, I'm in control of myself and I'm open-hearted, I will not allow you to go that far down. It's a stop gate. It looks like you would be more vulnerable, but you're actually at your strongest point because you're flexible. So it's like, notice, move down, boom, and back up. Now they can operate from a place of respect because they've scanned you. And unlike the way most women walk into a room and we're fearful and worried and like, is anybody gonna talk to me? Does anybody care about me? I wish I wasn't here. Like, instead, a man is standing there and he's like, oh, isn't she intriguing? I wonder who she is. And I will tell you, the upside to this is that the highest net worth man, to the best of my ability to gauge that, in every room comes to find me. Now, isn't that what you all are trying to do with all your makeup and your push-up bras and your contorting yourself? Like it's all ridiculousness because you have what you need already inside. It wastes our money, it wastes our time, it wastes our energy. Like, what I'm transmitting is I know myself and I like myself. I respect myself, therefore you must respect yourself. And that, when an item, an object, a person has value, others see it and they start to gather around it to protect it, to make a protective sphere around it. That's what you do energetically by actually staying open and receptive. So walking becomes more like a dance with yourself. That's what it is. You're not dancing for anyone else. You are dancing with your own joy, ease, and passion. And that, again, is the irony in all this. I feel joyful because I know who I am. I have ease because I know how I'm going to operate in this situation. And the passion, that's for me to decide if I act or don't act. And that's really all there is to it. We'll get to the standards and the boundaries and how you actually do that, but this is this is walking in eye contact. This is leading with your heart. This is what our society admires. They admire upward moving energy. The kind where I said, I have joy, I have ease, and I'll decide on my passion. I'll decide on my passion. I'll decide on my passion, but meanwhile, I stay with compassion. I'm not judging you. I'm accepting you because I accept myself. That is how you walk in a room. That's how you know who you are, what you are, outside of the rules, the roles, and it moves you up the rank because you just don't even care about the rank. So there we have it. Newsletter 9. I hope that you share this with friends. Next week, I forget, because this is what happens. I get in my body and I can't think straight, which is why I don't try to talk. I just try to be. So I hope you give it a try this week. Stay open-hearted. Communicate your best, but know your worth and your values so that everyone else can see it too. Till the next time, be free, be happy. You can listen to what I say or not, because I'm just a girl.